Okay, so I just seen Irene's video about Kamala Harris, and I'm definitely going to do a response to that. Irene is a very, very special woman that has to be addressed. But that's not what this video is about. This video is to prepare you for that. Well, I'm doing this video for a couple of reasons. One, the video that I'm going to do on Irene requires a little bit of research and a little bit of editing, and that's going to take some time that I don't really have right now. But I want to do a short video to prepare you for what I'm going to say to or about her, rather, and also to kind of, well, to prepare you and to give myself time so you don't really forget my name, forget the Game Changer brand when that video comes up on your feed. So, the black alpha female. I want to kind of give you some perspective on where I'm coming from, what is a black alpha female, and how it's damaging to modern black relationships. All right, so years ago, I'd say like in the early part of the millennium, the I met a woman who was that I worked with. She was overweight and she was very much interested in Game Changer. She was either interested in me or one of the friends that, not really friends, but one of my work friends. You know how you have those guys or girls at work that you kind of hang around with all the time. Anyway, she was interested in one of us. And I was walking past her desk one day and she called me over and she showed me pictures of her cousins and various friends. I was like, okay, they're very attractive. At least I was thinking that. I don't know. I don't remember if I said it or not. I probably did just to say, just to say something because it'll be awkward. You're just showing me these pictures and it's like, why the fuck are you showing me? So it's like, okay, they're attractive. This was in her wild. This was way before the time that everybody had everybody's pictures on cell phones. This was in her wallet, and she was saying that she randomly tell these girls, these attractive young ladies, to sleep with guys, and they would do it. So she pretty much wanted me to know that she had complete and total authority over their sexuality. In other words, she can get her cousins to, well, I think one of them was her cousins, and the other one was either her friends or her cousin's friends. But she can get these particular girls to, she had complete sexual access to these particular girls. She wanted to make that clear to me. So, what we have is a dynamic where an unattractive woman has sexual access or have sexual power of attorney. I don't even know how to call something like this, but she has sexual authority over attractive women, and that is a theme that happens far too often in the black community. Now, I didn't grow up around white kids. There were very few white kids in the high school that I went to in Oakland. But from what I know from watching movies like Clueless, Mean Girls, and I don't know, various other movies, it's a trope basically. The prettiest girl is always the alpha, but amongst the white girls, she's the one who, says what's what, and she's the popular one, and she's basically the end all be all. She's the one that everybody wants to be. But in the black community, it's always the one that's the most assertive, the loudest, the most aggressive, and quite often the fattest one. Let's be real, the fattest one is the alpha. You can tell who's the leader of the group by how much she weighs. Now, that could be because of a physical thing. Nobody challenges a girl who's, a 100-pound girl is not going to challenge a 200-pound girl to a wrestling match, so maybe that's why. And in the white communities, it's not really about physical dominance, it's more about physical beauty. But for whatever reason, we find out that the alpha is somebody that's not really sexually desired by men. However, if you want to get to, in this particular case, the girl's cousins, you have to go through her. That means that if you're in a club and you see the cousins, she's the one that will come in and block you. She's the one who will, if you don't approve of her. So I get the feeling that she wanted to kind of kick it with me and my boys, which, and as an enticement, in order for me to allow her to do that, she would kind of pimp out her cousins and her friends and stuff. Basically, everybody will, be happy except the one that has to take one for the team, which likely would have been me because I'm the one that knew her. So, I'm, that so I feel like an asshole because I did deprive my boys of something that they would have enjoyed because I wasn't really willing to bite the bullet, and for several reasons. One, I really wasn't physically attracted to her, and the other one was we worked together, and once you take one for the team or sleep with somebody that's not particularly attractive, you kind of lose access to all of the more attractive women at the job. Therefore, it would have been better for me to just not do that. Anyway, my point. How does this affect the black community? Because she has sexual authority over these girls, she will not allow these young ladies to advance until she has. Basically, what I mean by that is she will hold them back from their own happiness. Things that will make them happy, whether it's a husband or anything like that. She'll find any weakness and exploit that, and because they follow her, he will appear unfit, even no matter how she feels about him. Basically, in order to appease, if you are interested in the cousin, in order to appease or get access to her cousin, you have to go through her, and you have to pay proper tribute, whatever that is, whether it's your friend's company, whether it's time, whether it's money, but if you see her in the club with her cousin, you have to buy them both a drink or the deal's off. And what we have as a result is of this dynamic. This is not an isolated incident, as many of my viewers know. This is not an isolated dynamic. But what we have as a result of this dynamic is a group of men who will not and simply is afraid to speak openly against what they find attractive in a woman for fear of disrespecting and meeting the disapproval of the big cousin. And that is why we in the black community, over years of this, keep in mind this was the early 2000s, but this has been going on well before then. After years of this, we have come to accept the unacceptable because so many men who refuse to put up with this are not vocal about it. So I'm going to paint a picture for you because that was kind of long-winded. I kind of did a long build-up to get to that point. So let's just call her little cousin. Let's just call the little cousin Irene, right? Let's call the little cousin Irene. And you meet up with Irene. She seems cool. She's nice. She's naturally submissive. It's just unfortunate that her submissive nature was exploited by her cousin because she met her cousin before she met you. But, you like her. And she likes you. And you meet her cousin. You meet her cousin. Let's call her cousin Patrice. So, you meet Irene's cousin, big cousin Patrice. And you say, not my type, but, who cares? I'm into the cousin, no other woman in the world matters but Irene. So, you notice that Patrice has a certain amount of influence over Irene, so you kind of like, okay, whenever we're around and Irene is around, I have to make a good impression, kind of like the same way you do, if you meet a girl's father from back in the day when black girls had fathers. This this dynamic, you just gotta kind of brown nose a little bit. One day, one of your boys is going to meet Irene, and she's going to be like, oh damn, that would have been a better analogy. Next Friday, next Friday is perfect. Damn, I wonder if I should edit this. No, I'm not gonna edit it because I want to save time and I want to focus on that Irene video. All right, so better analogy. Forget what I said before. All right, so you remember next Friday when Day Day had the big cousin, or Day Day's supposed baby mama had the big cousin played by Yo Yo, and it's like the little cousin who's bigger than the big cousin. Well, the big cousin is going to want shit. You got to keep the big cousin happy. Day Day used a cookie, and then he offered, his cousin Craig to her to make them happy, and the whole thing is just fucked up. So the point is that Day Day was not even a okay. In order for Day Day to maintain happiness in his situation, he had to pay tribute to the fat alpha black woman. He told Craig that fat women need love too. And that's where we get a lot of the fat acceptance from. Not directly from the overweight women and not directly from their friends. We get it from the men who date their friends who, are afraid to really speak out against, their mates, family members, or friends. So they kind of just like, okay, I'm with a woman who's not fat, but I am not going to ever speak out against fat women, not even to my boys, because then I will have to tangle with the cousin, and her cousin is the fucking gatekeeper to her vagina. So I'm not really going to play that game. So that's the situation we're in. That's why over years and years, or decades and decades of this, we have become a culture of fat accepting simps. Pawn takes queen. Have a nice day.